Who needs friends when you have a nice cold Diet Coke on standby? I think I fell out of love with Coke Zero. I've been drinking those for quite a few years. My favorite is coffee. I do like some green tea, but I feel like the Diet Coke is superior in every way. Not only does it have a better aftertaste, it goes down smoother and feels like it quenches your thirst better. Cheers. The only reason I'm drinking this right now is because I haven't had a beer in a month. I just took a break from VR sculpting and painting. I'm always trying to get better at that, and I talk about that extensively on this channel because if you don't have one of these headsets, you're missing out. There are a ton of hard skill learning apps. They have stuff to train people how to be better dentists, doctors, surgeons. They have HVAC repair and installation apps. They have all kinds of creative apps. I'm primarily sticking with the sculpting and the VR painting so I can create wonderful works of art just like you see here, and everything that I create, mostly everything you can find on colts3d.com. I also have the digital downloads on my Etsy store. And today I'm going to be talking about what influences me in my art and my desire to do art. I'm not a very good artist, okay? I am a desperate, starving artist who's trying really hard, okay? Just like most of you. 99% of artists never make it. They never turn it into a profitable, living, right? But you can use art, right? You can use these creative things to complement your life and add value to it. Pun intended. One of the greatest influences of, our creative desires can be books, film, video games, whatever. And for me, growing up as a millennial, we saw an explosion in video game type of content. I remember being in high school when it was taboo to be into video games and to like them. And that's when we had some of the best games ever released in history. We had Final Fantasies, we had Metal Gears, we had all of this stuff. It was a really great time to grow up. And now Gen Z is bombarded with even more IPs. They have too much now, and they're all politicized and whatnot. And some of our greatest, most cherished franchises have been lit on fire. That's just the times that we're in. If you haven't noticed, I'm being flanked by one of the Metal Gear drawings behind me. I believe this one was done by Yoji Shinkawa himself. You can tell he has evolved in his art over time. His line work has gotten better, his proportions, his anatomy, it's all gotten better over time. And I only recently found out who he was, that he was the artist behind some of the most iconic pictures that live rent-free in my head to this day. And the reason why I like looking at his art is because it gives me hope. You don't have to be the best. You just have to convey the message, the image, the idea in a way that the viewer finds interesting. And one of the things that I noticed that he does really, really well, even from the beginning, was to put that movement, that flow, the gesture into his artwork. You could say it was kind of feminine. It looks like what the models would be drawn in back in the day. They used to draw models, like fashion model stuff. And I believe he did do some of that with paint back in the day. And then he switched to line drawing with ink, and he's been a legend ever since. So you can definitely see what influenced him and his art style. And now he's influenced people like me who are sweaty tryhards with a VR headset. And you can too. I always have it linked in the description below. Check it out. You're gonna also want this comfort battery strap. I always recommend it. There's all kinds that you can get. Basically, there's two kinds. Just get one of those. Whatever you do, get a comfort strap with the battery pack on it. You'll thank me later. So make sure to go ahead and check out all my content talking about that on this channel. But right now, I would like to introduce to you my tier list, okay? You know it was coming. I am on a slop streak on this channel. Making videos is hard work, especially when you have real world obligations. So I do want to continue to talk about stuff that I'm interested in. I haven't done that very well. So here we go. So here is my tier list, and we're going to go ahead and slap these onto this board. S tier obviously being the best. You've seen people do this before many times. Now it's my turn. Number one, I have Zone of the Enders. If you're not familiar with Zone of the Enders, that was I believe it was a Hideo Kojima game. It had a demo disc, and I remember there was a demo for it on Metal Gear Solid 2 on PlayStation 2. I remember back in the day playing this thing to death, and then I got the game, and it was very stylish. It was still like the Yoji Shinkawa style of art, and I don't know. But here we go. I replayed it recently on. It just didn't hit as cool as it was when I was in high school in the early 2000s. So this game style-wise, so I'm going to be doing this according to style and influence, like what I aspire to adopt into my own style. This one's going to be C. Okay, so this is a C class. We are starting with kind of the mediocre, not so great. Zone of the Enders, definitely go check it out. You might be interested in it. It's very, like I said, it's very feminine style, but I think Gundam does it better. I think Gundam's cooler. I mean, Transformers, there's people that like Transformers better, but it's a giant robot, Jehuti. And when I played Zone of the Enders 2, I just didn't feel it, It just felt like a lot of work. Just go here, go there, but the original one felt a little more interesting as you were like in this, I think it was like a Halo style ring, like a space station, and you were inside flying around, and then you would battle in there. A simple game. It's just a beat 'em up, but it's like it was in the air, and that was kind of revolutionary for the time. All right, so number 2, the game on the list that I'm going to choose here is Half-Life. Now, Half-Life is an incredible series. It's influenced so many people over many, many years, right? And there's so many memes about it. It gave us Skibbity Toilet. I have Mr. Gordon Freeman himself. I love Half-Life Alyx on the VR headset. It is one of the best gaming experiences you will have, period. And it plays very, very well on the PC, connected VR. So you can take this headset or any other headset of your choice. You can play it through Steam. It's a fantastic experience. I pray for the day when we'll have these experiences on the standalone headsets. I think that is coming down the pipeline in about the next 5 to 10 years. We will have very powerful, much more expensive headsets. So this, I'm going to say, Half-Life has that kind of gritty, post-apocalyptic, aliens have already invaded, War of the Worlds feel to it. And I think that it is very influential. I'm going to say B, okay? I'm not really interested in making that style of world building or art. That doesn't really influence me that much, but it is in my mind more often than the Zone of the Enders. So that's going to weigh heavily in this tier list. It's going to include, how much of this stuff is on my mind 24/7 rent free. All right, moving on. We're going to go to Gundam. Gundam is an A tier, A class thing. This is the Journey to Jaburo cover art, and I bought it. I was one of the few that actually bought it. It was actually a really clean Gundam feeling game. Gundam is very old, outdated. It was really cool. I believe it first came out in like the 70s or something crazy like that. It's very, very old, but it is influential, no doubt. And to this day, Gundam has an extremely large, growing fan base. You can put the models together. They actually look amazing. And I love the clean, hard surfaces that the Gundam style provides. But I also really, really enjoyed, I believe I watched something recently on streaming. It was like Netflix or Prime. It had a Gundam 3D CG animated thing, and it was brutal. It was about like nobody wins, right? Something vengeance, right? And it was awesome. Actually, it's a very realistic approach to what it would mean for a colony in space to come and attack the people on Earth, right? And fighting. It's always like a political battle. It's always a more realistic approach to the consequences of having these giant machines. And I think the art in that was fantastic. They made it really ominous and spooky, like the Gundam was this really spooky thing. And I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't checked it out, but definitely go check that out. It's awesome. So Gundam, the colors, the surfaces, those are always in my mind. And I'm always thinking about that stuff. And that's part of the reason why I decided to pick up a VR headset and start painting, start sculpting, start trying to do this stuff, because I couldn't get it out of my head. It was bothering me. Next on my list is probably a surprising one to you. A lot of people don't know about this game franchise. It was very different when it came out, when it debuted, but the style goes along with the Gundam for me, and it is so clean. I absolutely can't get enough of the clean looking, bright color, kind of futuristic style that a lot of these Japanese, these East Asian ideas come from. And Mirror's Edge is fantastic. I don't know who made it. I don't know if it's from Asia, but the main character, I believe she's like Japanese, and this is S tier. Okay, you're going to disagree with me, but the color scheme, the bright color scheme, running through the city, and it's all clean surfaces and everything. It's kind of an empty city, but I kind of like that. It feels kind of like the opposite of the back rooms. It's like an open world that you can explore. It's bright, colorful, and I think it's a fantastic game series. And like I said, the art is simplistic, and I love it for it, and it's always in my head. It is my dream to be able to either paint or sculpt clean, hard surfaces like you see in Mirror's Edge or Gundam. If you haven't checked out this game, it's on sale. Usually it's like $2 to $4. It is awesome. All right, next on the list, you gotta have it, right? Mass Effect. Mass Effect also is going to be A tier, okay? I didn't put it in the S category. It's not superior because Mass Effect lives in my head rent-free, mostly because of the story, right? It is an excellent reference for this kind of theme that I'm very attracted to, which is the clean, hard surfaces, futuristic, space travel's included. And I think you can draw a lot of influence and inspiration from these types of games, especially if you're interested in making, the robot art, which is tougher to do on VR, but there are some very skilled and talented artists that you can find that are doing that currently. And I think Mass Effect is an infinite source of inspiration that you can draw upon that will challenge you for many years to come. It has so much in it. Next, I'm going to put this one up here. This is going to surprise you, okay? The Phantom Menace. Star Wars The Phantom Menace is just, again, this is my tier list, okay? My experiences in my life. And, I've played so many video games, it's almost embarrassing. And I spent a lot of money. I was making a lot of money. I used to work. I didn't really care about studying in high school. I worked since I was 12, basically. No lie. I had a paper route back when we used to read newspapers. I collected money. I collected tips. I did restaurant work. I was always making money. I was always hustling, making that money. It kind of burned me out a little bit. That's a story for another time. But, I worked my ass off, and I bought this game for PC in high school when the Phantom Menace, I think, debuted. It was I was in 8th grade. It was like before 2001, right? It was like 1999 or something like that. And they had this PC game, and it came out, and there was something about it. You have these games, like for some people it's like RuneScape, other people's World of Warcraft. It has kind of that soft, very simple feel to it. Like the way that it's portrayed, in the game is, it's like simple colors, and it just stands out. And the lightsabers in this stupid game, a lot of people hated this game. I absolutely loved it. I played this thing over and over and over. There's something about it that really attracted me. I'm going to put it in the B tier. That's right. It's above Zone of the Enders because I think there was more in the world that they built. This is back when, LucasArts was in charge, and they actually made good games. I also played Rogue Squadron to death. Like, the number of hours I spent on Rogue Squadron is embarrassing. I thought I was Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing. Clearly I'm not, so didn't work out. The next one that I'd like to add to this list is Final Fantasy VII. Okay. I'm going to put that in C tier along with Final Fantasy IX. These two games came out when I was in high school. You can see there's a theme. When you're in high school, when you're very impressionable, right? You're going to be attracted, especially when you have money, expendable income, especially if you're working like I did. You're going to have these games that really become a part of your core memories, right? You're growing up with these characters, with this style. You know what? I'm going to move 9 up to the B class, okay? I can hear you screaming. You're not going to comment about it. Maybe you will, but I can hear you screaming, okay? There is a style to Final Fantasy IX that stands out to me better than Final Fantasy VII. Now, I have seen the remake. I actually, I've seen somebody play the remake on PS5. The remake looks incredible, and I think what they did was amazing. They rebooted, redid, repackaged, rewrapped a beautiful masterpiece that is full of cringe that we call Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy IX, the style in that sticks in my head more than 7, and I don't know why. The game was all right. It got really weird. I don't like the weird stuff. I don't like the end of 9 was really weird. I don't know, but all of the Final Fantasies are weird. But 9, the style with the it was kind of, I don't know the terms. Okay, I'm not very good at English anymore. The I don't know, is that a Victorian thing? Is that a steampunk? That's what it's called. The steampunk style. I think they nailed it with the airships combined with gears. You know, they blended those two kind of like industrial with the the old kind of medieval type or like Renaissance. It was like a Renaissance feel to it with industrial aspects to it, and I really liked it. I think they pulled it off really, really nicely, and I highly recommend you check out the game if you have free time, which nobody does. Okay, moving on. Halo. Halo is going to be B tier also. I played pretty much every Halo game. Do I regret it? A little bit. Halo Infinite was almost there, but it doesn't have the same feel or look or the physics, right? It's like a mobile game, like a cheap Unreal Engine mobile game, whatever you call it. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I do like some of the art that they came out with for Halo Infinite, but I don't know if that's an actual painting or if that's, a clip from the game. I can't tell. Like, we're in that era and AI is going to make it worse, obviously, but Halo's style, it kind of fits in with Mass Effect, but Halo feels more generic. Okay? The game itself is awesome and very influential, on par with Mass Effect, but style-wise, for me, I don't know. And if you don't know, I recently started, VR painting, and I took a Master Chief helmet because I wanted to learn how to do the hard surfaces and the edges in the VR painting app, and they have that, and you can go check out how I show how to do that in the previous videos that I did a couple days ago. But overall, Halo doesn't really live rent-free in my head. Now, one of the things that I played recently is Ghost of Tsushima. There you go. That is an A tier game in my mind. It's almost S tier, but not quite. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that's not quite S tier. I feel like they recycled a bunch of the stuff. I see this in Tomb Raider, like the Shadow of Tomb Raider. The recent 3 Tomb Raider games are freaking incredible. If you haven't played them, you're missing out. I love the new Tomb Raider games. They're excellent. But Ghost of Tsushima has those kind of recycled assets. Like, you would see the same people in different villages. You got to see through the mechanics of the game, very quickly. And style-wise, though, it's incredible. It's a beautiful game. You can take probably amazing photos, right? And then just paint those. I was taking photos of those, and that's kind of what inspired me to start getting into painting, was Ghost of Tsushima. So this is definitely A tier. And in fact, I went to the top of one of the mountains in Tsushima. I traveled to Tsushima by boat. It was like 4.5 hours. And that is one of the most hilarious experiences that I ever had in my life. There was literally a dude rolling around on the ground, rolling his way to the bathroom to throw up. It was so funny. And our boat pretty much turned into a submarine about halfway through it was very choppy water. But Tsushima is a freaking spooky place. It's a fine place, but you're not going to go there. Most people will never go there. Most foreigners, Western foreigners, they're not going to be able to go there. It's very difficult to get there, and rightly so. But that was an incredible place, incredible experience, and I had some decent food. It was okay. I like the more saltier Korean food than I do the Japanese, but yeah, we had some good udon and stuff like that there. It was fun. But yeah, Tsushima looks just like the game, but spookier. Okay, there's lots of trees, sparse houses. I mean, you don't want to live there, I don't know what else to say. This last summer, when I played Ghost of Tsushima, I really was inspired to learn how to start putting digital paint onto a digital canvas. This is the game that did it, hands down. Okay, the next one is going to be Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends. These are both A tier. I put these two together because to me, they're kind of the same. It's the same kind of world building. It's the same, very similar style. Apex Legends is the more cartoonish, free to play game. But I played a lot of Apex Legends during COVID, and I replayed Titanfall 2 like 2 more times. I love it. I love this stuff more than Gundam, and I just love what you can do with that world. I love the mixture of the natural stuff. Like, it's like solar punk, right? Where you have kind of like the environmentally friendly stuff mixed with giant machines. There's something about that really attracts my brain. And I love to imagine that stuff in my head. And I think Halo gets kind of close to it, but Halo doesn't really scratch that itch, if you will, in my brain as much as Titanfall and Apex Legends does. Now, with the next game, will we be seeing a combination of Apex Legends and Titanfall? Is it going to be called Titanfall 3, Titanfall Legends? Are you going to be able to have a squad and fight, and then you're able to call in a Titan, and then you have big Titans, and everybody's just running, right? Probably. That would be the smart business choice, I think. They can capture even more players, but they got to work on them servers, right? Okay, the next thing that I have to put up here that's not even a video game, but it lives rent-free in my mind all day, every day, is Cowboy Bebop. Now, the reason I put it in this video game tier list is because I'm selfish, all right? I love Cowboy Bebop. The style, the mechanical drawings. I love when the Japanese animation or the Korean animation, when they include mechanical workings and designs that are moving around. You have gears, you have guns. They are so good, well, they were so good at it when it was all hand-drawn. And hands down, this is what lives rent-free in my head. I love the space type of background. You can see the stuff that stays in my head are these hard surface stuff mixed with stylish color, like in Ghost of Tsushima and Titanfall, Mirror's Edge. They all have that kind of colorful thing to them, but most of these you can see they have a space aspect to them, a futuristic aspect to them, and that has been kind of like in my core, right? Growing up, like that was something that I thought would happen. Yet, here we are. Okay, the final two, and you can see them on the bottom, obviously. This is it for me. This is, for right now, these are the two that are living in my head all day, every day, rent-free. I don't know about you, but when I played Metal Gear, the first time I heard about Metal Gear Solid, I was in middle school. I think I was in 8th grade. And I would listen to the local radio late at night. I had a boombox and I had headphones. And to go to sleep, I would listen to very late night radio. And they had these two guys and they were talking about this game, Metal Gear Solid, on PlayStation. And the guy was explaining how amazing it really was and how he could hide in a box and hide in the truck. And it was like stealth action, and he was like so excited. I've never heard anybody on the radio like geek out like that. It was after hours, so they could talk about more stuff. But these guys were, I guess they were the earlier millennial types, and they were old enough to be on the radio and have that job. But I was so interested, and then I played it at a friend's house like a year later, I think, or maybe that same year, and I was blown away. This was the most mysterious gobbledygook I have ever seen in my life, for many years actually, and I was totally attracted to it. I loved the military aspect to it. I always wanted to join the military. I chose to do a different career path and be a dad instead. the Metal Gear franchise is so iconic and influential. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Yoji Shinkawa's art style influenced so many over like 2, maybe 3 generations. It's going to be in the future, right? And then the new Metal Gear game is coming out soon. This is what I want to incorporate into my art, is his flow. And then you can see, like, even on the cover right here, this Metal Gear cover, there's several covers out there, but this one you can see, what's his name? Gray Fox, right? And he's got, the pose. Yoji's poses are awesome, and they really bring the characters to life. Of course, he adds little details like, Snake's bandana, it's flowing in the wind. So you imagine in your head that these characters are living, breathing, and real. I wish to incorporate his style a little bit into my own art someday. I know that that's a lot to ask for. It's a lot of line work that he does. And, he's been building his repertoire, his portfolio for many, many, many years. But if you're interested in video game art, definitely take a look at his stuff. Metal Gear, hands down, lives rent-free in my head to this day. I just love the style of it. Okay, and the last one, of course, is Cyberpunk 2077. This game, when it first came out, people hated it. Not only did it have a lot of bugs, and then even like a year or two later, it had bugs and it was unplayable on my PC. This game upset many people. They thought it was going to be something else. I was trying to tell them from day one on the internet. I said, you guys are hyping this up like it's going to be some sort of Matrix experience. I said, in many comments, I said, this is going to be GTA. This is GTA Cyberpunk. And they did not believe me. Now, I was happy to see that it was a little bit more than just a GTA style game. It was an incredible work of art. The lore, the storytelling, the voice acting, everything is on point with Cyberpunk 2077. And I definitely want to incorporate more cyberpunk elements into my art. I think that there's a very, very large growing fan base for this style of art and this video game franchise. I can't believe that it turned out to be so good. I really doubted it. Some of the stuff that I buy, like the VR headsets, I originally doubted it. I said it's not going to be that good, but then it ends up blowing me away, and it is such an influence for the rest of my life. And if you haven't checked it out, Cyberpunk 2077, it's very adult, very mature. There's a lot of stuff that you do not want to play that game in front of kids with. But so if you have kids, from one dad to another, that's your warning. This game, though, it is a Hollywood AAA experience, okay? People will hate the game, but I think it's more of a player issue. There is so much to do with this game and so much to explore with this franchise. It's so rich that I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. And I've looked at the art book. I didn't think it was worth the money. I'm looking for more of like the Metal Gear art books that are now like $200+, right? They're a collector's item now. I'm looking for more of something like that. But in the digital age where less and less is actually hand-drawn on paper with ink and stuff, you're probably not going to find that. So it is what it is. If I were you, my recommendation is to find your favorite video game. And a lot of them these days, like Cyberpunk, they have, and Ghost of Tsushima, they have this photo mode. Nobody is using the photo mode properly. You can use the photo mode to create references for your art. And in fact, Vermillion VR, you can project it onto your canvas and you can use that and paint over top of it or use it as a reference right there. And I show you how to do stuff like that, how to use your Google Drive in previous videos. And I'm going to continue to make content with Vermillion VR oil painting. It's a fantastic app, very affordable. You don't need a PC. You can just do it on the headset. I do it all the time outside on the deck. I do it in the bathroom. Okay, between you and me, big secret, but it's fantastic. So definitely check out the links in my description of this video and tell me what video game franchises really influenced you. I know Zelda Ocarina of Time is not on this list. I realize that now. It does live rent-free in my head, but in terms of pursuing art, I'm not really interested in that. I don't feel that vibe. You can tell I really feel that cyberpunk, futuristic space type of vibe. I'm a big fan of science fiction and stuff like that, but I do love the solar punk aspect, and I hope to be good at incorporating all of those elements into my art in the near future. So if you're interested in anything that I'm talking about, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.